Good day to you. Today, this is the third garden bed. Today we're going to talk about raised garden beds, and this is, well, all my beds are raised because of the poor quality of soil or lack of it underneath. So how high? Well, at least 8 inches, preferably a bit more. This is actually quite a tall one, simply because I've got brassicas growing in there, and I usually have a mesh screen over the top, which is here, but I've taken it off for the purposes of talking about raised garden beds. So I don't think I should have made this longer to let more light in, because it's a bit dark, and this is why they're growing a bit leggy. Also, there's a structure here and a structure there, so that's not very good for letting light in anyway. So I think next time I'd probably make a much larger mesh screen using that mesh, which is well, silvery and not dark like this, but I'm trying various systems. So the soil I'm using is I don't have any soil, so I bought some from a garden supplies place. Bought a trailer load, and in it, this is probably 4 years ago I did this. In it I've composted stuff over the years, so it's much better quality now, and I mulch as well, constantly mulching. It seems to disappear, though mine's more woody now. I've decided to add a bit of wood in it, decomposition, cabbage fungi, beneficial fungi of course, not stuff that doesn't do the place any good, but you find out as you go what's good and what isn't. The mesh is to keep off the cabbage moths, white cabbage moths that love brassicas. So these are planted early spring, so by the time these get ready, butterflies are out in full force. So in it I've got these are peppers, long yellow, and that eventually turn red peppers. I prefer those because they're quicker. This is an idea that this is a white pansies. Somebody online on a YouTube video, somebody said this deters the white cabbage moths because it thinks there's one already there and they don't want to encroach on each other's territory. This is what I've been told. Whether it's true or not remains to be seen, because as yet there's hardly been any butterflies, so we'll see. Now the thing is, these have got it tall and a bit leggy, and that one's suffering a bit, so not an awful lot I can do now about that, but we'll see. In here I've also got stinging nettles. They're good for the compost. Also, if you get them young, you can use them a bit like spinach. If you cook them, there's no sting. Along the back I've got they're butter beans, and they're climbing ones, and around here you can probably see there's a gap. Stick my fingers up there, so I'm going to get them to train them up there, and by the time they grow, the leaves I think will camouflage the fact that there is a gap there, so I won't tell the butterflies, the white butterflies, and hopefully you won't either. So I've got zucchinis growing. I'm actually going to train them to go through this hole here, and get them to grow here on some trellis or framework that keeps them off the ground. and I don't have to worry about the soil there because it's all coming from here. Zucchinis can grow, quite long, about 6 foot, eventually. So that's in it. I've also got more cornflowers because it attracts beneficial insects. Here I've got more of these linseed oil traps, which I've had to cover this morning because claiming it's going to rain. But as yet, not in any way. Earwigs, which is what the trap's for, only come out at night time, so it's academic having the lid on or off during the day. Well, that's more or less about it. You can always improve the quality of your soil with compost. I tend to, if I get seedlings, I tend to plant them in compost, so I have to dig a bit of a hole. I generally don't like to disturb the soil. If there's plants that are finished or weeds that have grown, I tend to chop them off and leave the roots in situ, as long as they're not ones that sprout from the roots. Some weeds do, and some vegetables do as well, but depending on what they are anyway. Or if I had enough of them and I want to put something else in, then I just chop them off at ground level. Or if they do re-sprout and I don't want them there, well, I have to take it out completely. But generally speaking, I try not to disturb the strata of the soil, simply because bacteria and fungi live at certain depths in the soil, and it's best not to disturb that, which you will do if you dig the soil over, which I tend not to do. Though I could fork it, maybe, just tease it open a little bit without actually turning it. So I think that'll do for this video. And there's another African marigold there, and there's a few self-seeded tomatoes. I don't know what they are, but I've probably got enough anyway. Okay then, well, that'll do for this video, and we'll catch you again next time.